Have you ever felt paralyzed by the need to control every aspect of your life? That was my reality for years. Every relationship, outcome, and detail, until my desperate grip led to complete emotional collapse. What I discovered in the aftermath changed everything I thought I knew about power and peace. Today, let me share with you how the ancient art of letting go redefined my understanding of true strength. Taoist wisdom transformed my perspective on attachment, revealing that releasing control isn't about giving up. It's about opening to a kind of effortless power most of us never experience. If you've ever felt exhausted from trying to hold your life together, this documentary might show you another way. Have you ever noticed how much energy you spend worrying about things you can't change? This invisible weight is more common than you think. We all carry it, that nagging concern about a conversation that didn't go as planned, the constant checking of investments during market fluctuations, or the persistent worry about what others think of us. These attachments silently drain our energy and cloud our peace. The psychology behind our tendency to cling reveals our evolutionary heritage. Our brains developed to prioritize safety and resource protection, crucial for survival in ancient times. This protective mechanism now manifests in our tight grip on possessions, relationships, and ideas, even when letting go would serve us better. We're wired to attach meaning to objects and outcomes, creating connections beyond practical value. That family heirloom becomes the embodiment of your grandmother's love. That career goal transforms into validation of your worth. When we become attached to something, our brain creates powerful emotional associations. The item or concept becomes interwoven with our identity, making the prospect of loss feel like a threat to our very self. This is why criticism of an idea you strongly believe in can feel like a personal attack. Your brain processes it as a danger to your identity, not merely a challenge to a concept. To see how this plays out, consider these everyday scenarios. The career woman who can't delegate tasks works herself to exhaustion because no one else will do it right. Her attachment centers on the identity of being indispensable and perfect. The mother who micromanages every aspect of her children's lives becomes unable to let them experience natural consequences because her attachment to their success has entangled with her sense of self-worth. Or the friend who recounts the same past hurt in every conversation, their identity now so connected to that wound that healing would require rebuilding their sense of self. The physical cost of these attachments is substantial. Research shows that attachment-related stress triggers cortisol and adrenaline release, activating our fight-or-flight response. When triggered by fears of losing status, relationships, or possessions, this creates chronic stress. Over time, this stress response contributes to inflammation, weakened immunity, and cellular aging, literally shortening our lives as we cling to things beyond our control. Our attachment patterns often stem from childhood. Early experiences with caregivers create what psychologists call attachment styles that persist into adulthood. Someone with an anxious attachment style might become the adult who needs constant reassurance in relationships, clinging tightly from fear of abandonment. Those with avoidant attachment might struggle with vulnerability, attaching instead to independence as protection against potential hurt. Imagine each person walking around with an invisible backpack filled with rocks. The executive whose backpack bulges with performance anxieties. The new parent weighed down by perfectionism. The retiree carrying decades of accumulated regrets. Each rock represents something they refuse to release. Expectations, resentments, fears about future possibilities. Some carry just a few heavy boulders, while others haul countless small stones, collectively crushing. We've normalized this weight until we witness someone who has set down their burden. When we release these attachments, transformation occurs. Energy once spent maintaining and protecting attachments becomes available for creativity and presence. Mental space cleared of worry creates room for insights and genuine connection. The physical burden lifted allows our bodies to shift from survival to thriving. The weight you feel isn't inevitable. It's created by your relationship with attachment. This isn't about denying care for important aspects of life, but distinguishing between healthy connection and constricting attachment. Taoist wisdom offers a different perspective, suggesting our tight grip on life diminishes our experience of it, like holding something precious in an open palm rather than a clenched fist. What if trying to control everything is exactly what is holding you back? The strength in softness might seem counterintuitive, but what if I told you that the tighter you grip the reins of control, the less power you actually have? Like water slipping through clenched fingers, the very things we try hardest to control often become the most elusive. This paradox lives at the heart of our struggle with control. The more desperately we try to manage every outcome in our lives, the more anxious, exhausted, and ineffective we become. Think back to a moment when you meticulously planned something important, perhaps a presentation, a conversation with a loved one, or even a vacation. You likely rehearsed every detail, anticipated potential problems, and created backup plans. But when the moment arrived, how often did things unfold exactly as you envisioned? Research from the University of California reveals that attempting to control uncertain situations actually heightens our anxiety rather than reducing it. The brain, scanning constantly for potential threats, becomes hypervigilant when we're in control mode, preventing us from responding naturally to what's actually happening. Over-control manifests in our daily lives in multiple ways. The perfectionist gradually burns out while their career stagnates. The parent who monitors their child's every move stunts their development of independence. The partner who dictates relationship terms slowly suffocates their connection. In each case, the grip of control creates exactly what the person fears most. These patterns share a common theme: the mistaken belief that control equals certainty. Dr. Ellen Langer, a Harvard psychologist who studies mindfulness, found that our need for control stems from this fundamental misunderstanding. We believe that controlling enough variables will create certainty in an uncertain world. But this is an illusion. The world remains unpredictable regardless of our efforts. The energy we expend trying to control everything depletes our resources and narrows our perspective without increasing our safety or success. Consider how control issues show up in your own life. Do you find it difficult to adapt when plans change unexpectedly? Do you feel intense discomfort with uncertainty? Do you believe that if you just try hard enough, you can force situations to go your way? These are all signals that your relationship with control might be creating unnecessary suffering. The metaphor of water in a clenched fist illustrates this principle perfectly. Try it now. Imagine cupping water in your hands and then squeezing tightly to keep it from escaping. The tighter you squeeze, the more quickly the water forces its way out. But if you relax your hands into a gentle bowl shape, the water remains. This is precisely how control works in our lives. Gentle holding creates space, while desperate grasping pushes things away. Real-life examples demonstrate the power of surrender. Thomas Edison, whose laboratory burned down when he was 67, told his son, "Go get your mother. They'll never see a fire like this again." The next morning he said, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." Within 3 weeks, he had rebuilt and delivered his first phonograph. Similarly, Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, attributes much of her success to embracing failure rather than controlling outcomes. Her father would ask at dinner, "What did you fail at today?" This practice helped her reframe failure as a natural part of growth, allowing her to take risks that others wouldn't. When we release our grip on control, something remarkable happens. We create space for natural solutions to emerge. Our brain relaxes its hypervigilance, allowing us to see previously missed opportunities. Our relationships deepen because others feel free to be themselves. Our creativity flourishes because we're no longer constrained by rigid expectations. As we create space by releasing control, we tap into a profound paradox that mystified Western thinkers, but formed the cornerstone of Eastern philosophy. Have you ever noticed how your most brilliant ideas come not when you're forcing them, but when you're in the shower, walking in nature, or drifting off to sleep? This phenomenon isn't random chance. It's a glimpse into the ancient Taoist concept of Wu Wei, where effortlessness outperforms effort. Wu Wei translates literally as non-action or non-doing, but this translation misses its essence. It's about acting in harmony with the natural flow of life rather than struggling against it, similar to those moments when solutions appear effortlessly while your mind is relaxed. Imagine a skilled swimmer who knows when to ride a wave and when to dive beneath it, versus someone frantically fighting against the current. Both are active, but one works with nature while the other exhausts themselves battling it. This concept emerged from observation of the natural world. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, noticed that water, soft and yielding, can overcome even the hardest stone over time through persistent action that follows the path of least resistance. The mighty oak may snap in a powerful storm while the flexible bamboo bends and survives. These observations revealed profound insights into navigating life's challenges. Our modern Western culture operates from an opposing philosophy. While ancient wisdom valued effortless action, we celebrate the hustle, glorify the grind, and wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. No pain, no gain echoes through gyms and boardrooms alike. We push ourselves to breaking points, believing that forcing outcomes through sheer willpower is the path to success. Social media fills with rise and grind mantras, while burnout rates soar to epidemic levels. Wu Wei offers a radical alternative, like the difference between forcing sleep and allowing it to come naturally. The harder you try to force sleep, the more elusive it becomes. Only when you surrender control does sleep arrive effortlessly. We've all experienced Wu Wei in action. The basketball player who enters the zone, that magical state where shots flow naturally and decisions happen instinctively. The musician whose fingers dance across instruments without conscious thought. The parent who instinctively knows what their child needs without following a manual. These moments feel magical because they transcend our normal experience of striving. They represent a different kind of intelligence that emerges when we quiet the analytical mind and allow intuitive wisdom to surface. Neuroscience confirms what Taoists knew millennia ago. Our conscious mind processes about 40 bits of information per second, while our unconscious mind processes an estimated 11 million bits. Like a gentle river finding its natural course rather than a forceful storm, Wu Wei requires us to trust this unconscious wisdom. This doesn't mean abandoning plans or goals, but approaching them with a lighter touch. Instead of forcing your way through obstacles, you detect the natural pathways forward. Practicing Wu Wei transforms our relationship with challenges. Obstacles become opportunities for creativity. Resistance becomes information about which direction might flow more naturally. Research from the Flow Genome Project shows that people in flow states are 500% more productive and 430% more creative than in normal working states. The most successful innovators, artists, and leaders work from a state of aligned effortlessness. Perhaps most importantly, Wu Wei offers relief from exhaustion. When you stop fighting against the natural flow of life, you reclaim energy previously wasted on resistance. This energy becomes available for creativity and connection. By doing less, you accomplish more. When you stop fighting against life's natural flow, something remarkable happens in your nervous system. The constant background tension you've grown so accustomed to, the tension you might not even recognize anymore, begins to dissolve. But this dissolution doesn't happen through understanding alone. It requires practice. The gap between intellectually grasping Wu Wei and actually embodying it in your daily life can feel impossibly wide. How do we bridge this divide between ancient wisdom and modern living? Translating philosophical concepts into practical techniques isn't easy, especially when we're working against deeply reinforced patterns. Our brains efficiently create neural pathways for repeated behaviors. The attachment and control patterns you're trying to change are physically encoded in your nervous system, making transformation challenging. Here are practical techniques to help you cultivate Wu Wei in everyday life. First, Mindfulness Foundation. Set aside 5 minutes daily to notice your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment. When you catch yourself obsessing over outcomes or trying to control situations, observe with curiosity rather than criticism. This awareness creates space between you and the attachment. Second, body signals recognition. Your body reliably signals when you're caught in attachment. The Stanford Center for Compassion Research has documented specific physiological markers to watch for shallow breathing, jaw tension, racing heartbeat, or digestive discomfort. These physical cues often precede conscious awareness of attachment. Practice this. When you notice tension, pause for 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? And what would happen if I loosened my grip? Third, what if questioning? Our attachments persist because of unconscious catastrophic beliefs. For example, Sarah, a marketing executive, was micromanaging her team's presentation. When she asked, "What's the worst that could happen if I let my team handle this?" She realized her fear of looking incompetent was driving her behavior, though the actual risk was minimal. As Dr. Jennifer Shannon suggests, ask, what's the worst that could happen if I released control? How likely is that outcome? And could I handle that outcome if it occurred? This cognitive behavioral technique dismantles fear-based thinking. Fourth, start small. Begin with low-stakes experiments in letting go. Take a different route to work, or order a new meal at your favorite restaurant. These minor exercises build your letting go muscles before tackling significant attachments. Dr. Kristen Neff's research confirms that self-compassion during this process is crucial. Fifth, journal exploration. Complete these prompts. I feel most anxious when I can't control. I define myself by, and if I let go of needing to be seen as, I would feel. Dr. James Pennebaker's research shows that expressive writing clarifies unconscious attachments and reduces the physical stress response. Sixth, release ritual. Write down something you're struggling to release. Hold it, acknowledge its importance. Then transform it. Tear it up, burn it safely, or dissolve it in water. Harvard psychologists have found these symbolic rituals create meaningful psychological shifts by engaging multiple sensory systems. Seventh, savor success. When you navigate a situation with less control than usual, pause to feel the positive experience. Dr. Rick Hansen recommends spending 20 to 30 seconds savoring the outcome, helping rewire your brain to recognize that safety is possible without rigid control. With consistent practice, you'll notice gradual shifts. The space between stimulus and response widens. Your resilience grows. The need to manage every detail loosens its grip. You'll respond to life with more flexibility and less resistance. A transformation that unfolds through practice, like water gradually reshaping stone. The stone that water reshapes isn't just a poetic metaphor. It represents real lives fundamentally altered through the practice of surrender. When we witness transformation in others, the abstract concept of letting go becomes tangible, showing us what's possible in our own lives. These stories reveal philosophical shifts and measurable changes that ripple through every aspect of existence. Consider Melinda Chen, the founder of a tech startup in Seattle, who built her company through sheer force of will and micromanagement. For years, she reviewed every decision, checked every line of code, and required approval on the smallest details. Her company grew, but hit a ceiling. Team morale plummeted, innovation stagnated, and Melinda developed chronic insomnia and panic attacks. I was drowning in my own creation, she recalls. The more I tried to control everything, the more things fell apart. After a particularly severe anxiety attack, Melinda's doctor recommended meditation. Initially resistant, she eventually committed to daily practice. Gradually, she began delegating responsibilities and empowering her team. Revenue doubled within 18 months, employee retention improved by 65%, and the company launched 2 innovative products that had been stuck in development for years. The success I couldn't achieve through control came naturally when I stopped strangling my own creation, Melinda explains. My team had brilliant ideas that never surfaced because I was too busy imposing my own vision. This professional transformation mirrors the personal journey of Michael Townsend. After his fiancée ended their engagement unexpectedly, Michael became obsessed with winning her back. For months, he strategized and manipulated situations to create accidental encounters. His health deteriorated, friendships suffered, and he nearly lost his job. I was convinced that if I just found the right words or created the perfect moment, she would change her mind, Michael says. My entire life became about this one outcome I couldn't control. Through therapy incorporating Eastern philosophies, Michael began practicing acceptance, starting with small daily surrenders, accepting traffic delays, allowing conversations to unfold naturally. I realized one day that I hadn't thought about winning her back for several hours, he recalls. The space that opened up when I stopped forcing things allowed new possibilities to enter. This inner shift eventually allowed Michael to develop a friendship with his ex-fiancée and meet someone better suited to his authentic self. The physical and mental benefits of surrender extend beyond anecdotal evidence. Research from Johns Hopkins University examining 428 participants who undertook significant decluttering projects found that systematically releasing physical possessions correlated with a 37% reduction in cortisol levels. Dr. Amisha Patel, the lead researcher, notes, "The physical act of releasing possessions appears to create psychological templates for releasing mental and emotional attachments as well." The science behind these transformations continues to develop. A 2019 study at Massachusetts General Hospital used functional MRI to examine brain activity in meditation practitioners, revealing significant structural changes in areas related to self-regulation and stress processing. The amygdala showed reduced activity, while the prefrontal cortex demonstrated increased thickness and neural connectivity. Remarkably, some changes appeared after just 8 weeks of practice. These personal transformations parallel larger social movements. Mahatma Gandhi's practice of nonviolent resistance and Rosa Parks's peaceful non-compliance demonstrate how principles of letting go operate collectively, creating ripples of transformation throughout societies. All these stories share a common thread. The journey begins with small surrenders in low-stakes situations. No one immediately masters letting go in their most challenging areas. Instead, the practice builds gradually, creating a foundation of trust in the process of surrender. As we reach the end of our journey together, I want you to remember something powerful. That invisible weight you've been carrying isn't fixed or permanent. It's a choice, renewed or released with each passing day. The beautiful truth about letting go is that it begins with a single moment of awareness, recognizing where you're holding on too tightly. With each practice of surrender, the space once filled with tension transforms into natural strength and tranquility that was always within you. What weight will you choose to release today? Picture yourself setting down that heavy backpack, walking away lighter, freer. Your journey of liberation awaits. Thank you for joining me on this transformative journey. Remember, the weight you carry is not a life sentence. It's a choice you can choose to release at any moment. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a lighter, more fulfilling life. Don't forget to check out our other related videos that dive deeper into mindfulness and personal growth. Your journey of liberation is just beginning. Stay tuned for the next adventure.